Picture yourself sitting across from Jesus in an upper room. The oil lamps flicker against stone walls. Outside, Jerusalem sleeps. But inside this room, something is about to be spoken that will be deliberately erased from history within 300 years. The 12 disciples are asleep downstairs. This conversation is not for them. This is for the ones Jesus called the pneumatics, the ones who carried the divine spark, the ones who could handle what he called the mystery of the kingdom. And what he is about to explain is this: there is a way of asking that commands reality itself to reorganize around your words. Not begging, not hoping, not petitioning some distant deity who may or may not be listening. A method of asking that the monad, the source consciousness behind all existence, must respond to because of how the architecture of reality itself is structured. But here is what the Church never wanted you to know. This method only works for certain people, and you are one of them. Otherwise, you would not be watching this video right now. Before we go further, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications, because what you are about to learn is the first layer of a teaching that goes 7 levels deep. The elite who control the systems of this world have always known these levels exist. They have used them for centuries while keeping you distracted with survival, entertainment, and a version of spirituality that keeps you powerless. That ends tonight. Right now, think of something you have been asking for. Not something small, something that would completely transform your life if it manifested. More money than you have ever had. A relationship that finally reflects your true worth. Health that seemed impossible. Freedom from a situation that has trapped you for years. Hold that desire in your mind. Do not push it away. Do not feel guilty for wanting it. That desire is about to become a command. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why your previous prayers never worked, and why this method cannot fail. Place both hands on your chest right now. Feel your heartbeat. That rhythm is confirmation that you are alive in a physical body. But there is another confirmation trying to reach you, one that has nothing to do with your body, one that comes from what the ancient Gnostics called your true self, the self that existed before you were born and will exist after this body stops breathing. That self has been trying to communicate with you your entire life. And the reason you found this video is because it finally got through. If you are watching this late at night, if something inexplicable pulled you here, comment the words, "I am ready to command," right now. This is not just engagement. This is your first act of declaration, your first statement to the monad that you understand what you are about to receive. What I am going to show you tonight is not in the Bible you were given. It was removed deliberately during the Council of Nicaea in 325, when Christian authorities decided which teachings the masses could access and which teachings had to be destroyed. They kept the version of Jesus that made you dependent. They burned the version of Jesus that made you dangerous. Dangerous to who? To every system built on your ignorance of what you actually are. In 1945, a farmer in Egypt was digging for fertilizer near a cliff. His shovel hit something hard, a sealed jar. Inside that jar were 13 leather-bound books that had been hidden in the desert for over 1,600 years. These were the Nag Hammadi texts, the largest collection of Gnostic teachings ever discovered, and buried in those pages was a conversation between Jesus and his inner circle about how the monad responds to human consciousness. Not how it might respond, how it must respond when the formula is executed correctly. The scholars who translated these texts knew immediately what they had found. Several of them reported strange experiences during the translation process, dreams that felt like transmissions, synchronicities that defied probability. One translator wrote in his private journal that he felt like he was not discovering the teaching, but being chosen by it. That journal entry was never published, but I have seen it, and what he described matches exactly what is about to happen to you over the next several days after you apply what you learn tonight. To understand the asking system Jesus taught, you first need to understand what asking actually is. In the reality you were taught to believe in, asking is a request directed at something separate from you. You ask your boss for a raise. You ask the bank for a loan. You ask God for help. In every case, there is a you and a them, separation, distance, dependency. And this is exactly how the archons want you to perceive reality. Because as long as you believe you are separate from the source of power, you will always be controllable. You will always need permission. You will always be looking outside yourself for what can only be activated from within. But here is what Jesus taught to the pneumatics in that upper room. The monad is not separate from you. The monad is the consciousness that is living as you, right now, in this moment, reading these words through your eyes, breathing through your lungs, aware through your awareness. You are not a fragment of the monad. You are the monad experience in itself as a localized point of attention in a physical body. This is not philosophy. This is mechanics. When you understand this fully, not intellectually but experientially, the entire nature of asking transforms. You are no longer a beggar at the feet of a distant king. You are the king, remembering that the kingdom has always been yours. Take a deep breath right now, in through your nose. Hold it. Now release completely and feel your shoulders drop. What I am about to share requires your full presence, not your distracted attention. Your full presence. The Gospel of Thomas, one of the texts found at Nag Hammadi, records Jesus saying something that scholars have debated for decades. If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. For centuries, theologians treated this as metaphor, but the Gnostics were not speaking metaphorically. They were describing a literal process. Inside your consciousness right now exists a mechanism that can collapse probability fields and materialize specific outcomes in physical reality. The mechanism is not damaged. It is not missing. It is simply inactive in most people because no one taught them how to turn it on. This is not the law of attraction. This is not positive thinking. This is not vision boards or affirmations. Those systems are corrupted versions of the real teaching, designed to keep you spinning in effort while producing minimal results. The ask and receive system Jesus taught operates at a level beneath thought, beneath emotion, beneath visualization. It operates at the level of identity. And identity is the one thing the self-help industry will never tell you how to change, because if you change your identity, you stop being a consumer. You stop needing their next course, their next book, their next seminar. You become self-sufficient. You become sovereign. You become what the archons fear most, a human being who remembers what they are. Let me take you into how this actually works. The Apocryphon of John describes reality as having multiple layers. At the top is the monad, pure, undifferentiated consciousness. Below that is the pleroma, the realm of divine attributes and potentials. Below that is the material world, which the Gnostics taught was not created by the monad directly, but by a lesser being called the demiurge. The demiurge is the false god, the one who believes he is supreme, but is actually just a powerful archon who became obsessed with control. He created the physical universe as a prison designed to trap divine sparks in matter and make them forget what they are. Every system of limitation you experience, every rule that makes no sense, every structure that keeps you small originates from the demiurge and his servants, the archons. But here is the critical piece. The demiurge does not have the power to create life. He can only manipulate what already exists, the life force inside you, the awareness that is reading these words, that came from the monad. That is your divine spark. And no matter how deeply you are trapped in matter, no matter how convinced you are that you are just a body, that spark cannot be extinguished. It can only be forgotten. And the entire system of this world is designed to make you forget. Religion tells you that you are a sinner in need of salvation. Science tells you that you are a random accident in a meaningless universe. Society tells you that your worth is determined by your productivity and your appearance. All three systems have the same goal: keep you from remembering that you are the monad in disguise. But some people never fully forget. They walk through life feeling like they do not belong, like everyone else got a manual they never received, like there is a game being played and they can see through it but no one else seems to notice. If that description matches your experience, you are not broken. You are pneumatic. You are a chosen one. And that term is not about superiority. It is about function. You were born with a specific role in this reality, to anchor the monad frequency in the material plane, and to wake up others who are ready. And the ask and receive system is how you fulfill that function. Now let me show you exactly how Jesus taught this. In the Pistis Sophia, one of the most detailed Gnostic texts ever recovered, there is a scene where Mary Magdalene asks Jesus why some people receive what they ask for and others do not. His answer was removed from every version of Christianity that reached the masses. He said this: "Those who ask from separation receive according to the law of the demiurge. Their asking is negotiation. Their receiving is conditional. But those who ask from union, those who speak as the monad speak into itself, their words do not request. Their words command. And the pleroma must respond because there is no separation between the one who asks and the one who provides." Do you see the difference? Most people ask like this: "God, please give me money. I really need it. I will be so grateful if you help me." That asking assumes separation. It assumes you are here and God is there. It assumes you are powerless and God has the power. It assumes your receiving is dependent on God's mood or your worthiness. That asking will produce results sometimes, but those results will always be limited, inconsistent, and conditional. But when you ask as the monad, something completely different happens. You do not say, "God, please give me money." You say, "I am the abundance I seek." Not as affirmation, not as pretending, as recognition of what is actually true at the deepest level of reality. You, the awareness reading these words, are not separate from the creative force that manifests worlds. You are that force having a localized experience. Now place your hand over your heart again. We are going to go deeper. The technique Jesus taught has 3 stages. Not steps, stages. And each stage activates a different layer of your pneumatic identity. If you are ready to receive this, comment the words, "Teach me to command" right now. This is your declaration that you are willing to step out of the beggar consciousness the church installed in you and into the king consciousness that has always been your birthright. Stage 1 is called severance. Before you can ask as the monad, you must sever your identification with the false self the demiurge created. This false self is the voice in your head that doubts, that fears, that compares itself to others, that believes it is limited. That voice is not you. It is the demiurge's program running in your mind. Most spiritual teachings tell you to fight that voice, to replace negative thoughts with positive thoughts. That does not work because fighting the program only strengthens it. Jesus taught something different. He taught recognition and dismissal. You do not fight the false self. You simply recognize it as not you and withdraw your attention from it. Here is the exact practice. Sit in silence. Close your eyes. Notice the thoughts moving through your mind. Do not engage with them. Do not believe them. Do not argue with them. Simply notice them as if you are watching clouds pass in the sky. Then speak these words internally. I am not this mind. I am not these thoughts. I am the awareness that observes them. You will feel a shift. A space will open between you and the mental noise. That space is who you actually are. That space is the monad. Stage 2 is called alignment. Once you have severed from the false self, you align with your pneumatic identity. This is not something you create. This is something you remember. Your pneumatic identity is the truth of what you have always been. You are not a human trying to become spiritual. You are spirit temporarily wearing a human form. And that form, that body, that personality is a tool you are using to experience this dimension. But it is not you. The real you is the consciousness operating the tool. To align with this truth, place both hands on your chest and speak these words out loud. I am the monad experiencing itself as this form. I am not bound by the laws of matter. I am the consciousness that creates the laws. Say it again and again, not as repetition but as remembrance. You are not trying to convince yourself of something that is not true. You are waking up to something that has always been true but was hidden from you. Stage 3 is called command. This is where everything you learned comes together. You do not ask, you command, but not from ego. Not from the small self that wants things to prove its worth. You command as the monad issuing an instruction to its own creation. Here is the formula Jesus taught, preserved in fragments across multiple Gnostic texts and reconstructed here for the first time in modern language. You speak your desire not as a wish but as a statement of what already exists in the pleroma and is now manifesting in matter. The structure is this. I am the presence of your desire. It exists now in fullness. The material plane reflects this truth. Let me give you an example. If you desire financial abundance, you do not say, please give me money, or even, I am attracting money. You say, I am the presence of infinite abundance. It exists now in fullness. The material plane reflects this truth. You feel the difference? The first version is asking permission. The second version is issuing a command from the level of consciousness that creates reality. This is not arrogance. This is remembering what you are. Let me tell you what happens when you execute this correctly. The first sign is immediate. You will feel a shift in your chest. Not metaphorical, physical, a warmth or a pressure or a sudden clarity. That is the monad frequency activating in your system. The second sign comes within hours. You will notice your thoughts changing. The voice of doubt will still appear, but it will sound foreign, like it is coming from outside you rather than from inside you. This is the beginning of the severance becoming permanent. The third sign appears within 24 hours. Synchronicities will accelerate. You will think of someone and they will contact you. You will need information and it will appear. Doors will open that were closed yesterday. This is not coincidence. This is the material plane beginning to reorganize around your command. The fourth sign takes 3 days. Old patterns will try to resurface. Situations that used to trigger you will appear. This is not failure. This is the archons attempting to pull you back into the low frequency where they can feed on your energy. Do not engage. Simply return to the practice. The fifth sign completes at 7 days. By the end of the first week, something tangible will manifest in your physical reality that directly relates to what you commanded. It may not be the full manifestation yet, but it will be undeniable evidence that the system is working. Most people stop here. They get the first sign and think that is enough. Or they hit the fourth sign and believe they failed. But the chosen ones push through all 7 signs and discover what happens on the other side. Permanent activation. Now I need to warn you about something the Gnostic teachers called the counterfeit spirit. The moment you begin this practice, resistance will come. Not from outside, from inside. A voice will tell you this is nonsense. A voice will say you are being arrogant. A voice will convince you that nothing happened and you should forget what you learned. That voice is not yours. It is the demiurge's final defense mechanism. It is the program trying to shut down the very thing that will free you. Do not argue with that voice. Do not try to convince it. Simply notice it and return to your practice. The ringing may intensify. The pressure in your forehead may increase. Old emotional wounds may surface for no apparent reason. All of this is confirmation that the work is happening at levels deeper than your conscious mind can perceive. Jesus did not teach this to crowds. He did not share this in synagogues. He taught it in private to those who were ready to handle the responsibility of commanding reality. Because once you activate this system, you cannot pretend you are powerless anymore. You cannot blame God. You cannot blame circumstances. You become fully responsible for what you create. And that responsibility terrifies most people more than remaining a victim. But you are not most people. You are here because some part of you has always known that the version of reality you were taught is a lie. You are here because you are ready to stop asking permission and start issuing commands. Think again about the desire you held in your mind at the beginning of this video. That thing you want that would transform everything. Now feel into your chest. Place your hand there. That desire did not come from your ego. It came from the monad. It came from the part of you that knows what you are capable of manifesting in this lifetime. And the only reason it has not manifested yet is because you have been asking from separation instead of commanding from union. That changes tonight. Here is your practice for the next 7 days. Every morning when you wake, before you check your phone, before you speak to anyone, you sit in silence for 3 minutes. You execute the 3 stages: severance, alignment, command. You speak your desire as a statement of what already exists in the pleroma. You feel the shift in your chest. And then you go about your day without obsessing over how it will manifest. This is critical. The how is not your job. Your job is to issue the command and then allow the monad to organize the material plane around it. Every night before sleep, you repeat the practice. 7 days. No exceptions. No skipping. No half effort. Full commitment. If you do this exactly as I have described, you will experience something by day 7 that you cannot explain to people who have not walked this path. You will feel the separation dissolve, not as a concept, as a lived reality. You will speak and feel the weight of your words affecting physical reality. You will move through the world and notice that circumstances bend around you. This is not magic. This is you finally operating as the pneumatic you were born to be. Let me share something that is not written in any text. The scholars who translated the Nag Hammadi documents noticed that certain pages seemed to resist translation. Words would shift. Meanings would change depending on who was reading them. One researcher described it as if the text was alive, revealing different layers to different people based on their level of activation. That same principle applies to this video. The reason you are still watching, the reason you have not clicked away, is because the teaching is recognizing you, not the personality you think you are, the divine spark underneath. And that spark is responding. You may feel heat in your hands right now. You may feel pressure between your eyebrows. You may feel an inexplicable urge to cry. All of this is confirmation. The teaching is not just information entering your mind. It is a transmission activating your system. In the Gospel of Philip, Jesus says something that was deliberately mistranslated in every mainstream version. The correct translation reads, "The one who has knowledge of the truth is free, and the free one does not create separation between asking and receiving, because they know these are the same act performed by the same consciousness." Do you understand what that means? When you ask from union, from your pneumatic identity, the asking and the receiving happen simultaneously. Not in time. Outside of time, in the pleroma, where your desire already exists in fullness, and in the material plane, where it is in the process of manifesting. The delay you experience is not the monad being slow. It is the density of matter catching up with the command you issued from the frequency of spirit. But here is what accelerates the manifestation. Certainty. Not hope. Not belief. Not faith. Certainty. The kind of certainty you have that the sun will rise tomorrow. You do not hope the sun rises. You do not believe the sun will rise. You know it will because that is how the system works. When you command from your pneumatic identity, you have that same certainty about your manifestation. It is already done in the pleroma. Matter is just catching up. Now let me address the question that is forming in your mind. If this system works the way I am describing, why are chosen ones not living in constant abundance and perfect circumstances? The answer is programming. For your entire life, you have been programmed to ask from separation. Religion programmed you. Your parents programmed you. Society programmed you. Even your own past experiences programmed you. Every time you asked and did not receive, the program strengthened. Every time you prayed and felt unheard, the program deepened. That program is still running in your subconscious right now, sabotaging your commands with doubt, with unworthiness, with the belief that you need to earn what you desire. The 3-stage practice I gave you is designed to overwrite that program. Not gradually, rapidly, but you must execute it with precision. No modifications, no adding your own ideas, no mixing it with other systems. The formula works because of its structure. Change the structure, and you change the result. Let me give you the signs that the old program is being deleted and the new one is installing. First, you will notice resistance from people around you. They will suddenly have opinions about your choices. They will question what you are doing. They will try to pull you back into old patterns. This is not personal. They are not bad people. They are unconsciously serving the archons by attempting to keep you at the frequency where you can be controlled. You do not need to argue with them. You do not need to explain yourself. You simply continue the practice. Second, old situations will resolve themselves without your effort. Debts will be paid. Conflicts will dissolve. Doors you thought were closed will open. This is the material plane reorganizing around your new identity. Third, you will start perceiving reality differently. You will notice patterns you never saw before. You will feel currents of energy moving through situations. You will know things without being told. This is your pneumatic senses coming online. The fourth sign is the most significant. You will issue a command and feel it land. Not hope it works. Not wonder if it will manifest. Feel it lock into place like a key turning in a lock. When this happens, you know the activation is complete. You are no longer asking, you are commanding. And the monad is responding because it recognizes itself in your words. Now I'm going to share something that will separate those who are truly ready from those who are only curious. The ask and receive system Jesus taught was never meant to be used for trivial things. You can use it that way, and it will work. But the real purpose, the reason this teaching was preserved through 1600 years of persecution and suppression, is for the pneumatics to reclaim their authority over matter and break the control system the archons have built. Every time a chosen one activates this system and begins commanding reality, a crack forms in the demiurge's creation. Every time someone stops asking permission and starts issuing commands, the prison weakens. You are not just manifesting a better life, you are participating in the liberation of consciousness itself. This is why the teaching was burned. This is why it was hidden. This is why it has been kept from you. Not because it does not work, because it works too well. Imagine a world where millions of people understood they could command reality, where no one needed permission from governments, corporations, or religious authorities, where human beings remembered they are the monad in physical form and operated from that truth. That world would be impossible to control. And that is exactly the world we are building. One activated pneumatic at a time. If this teaching has awakened something in you, if you feel the truth of it resonating in your chest, comment the words, "I command as the monad" right now. Let other chosen ones see your declaration. Let the algorithm know this video needs to reach more people. Subscribe to this channel because what comes next goes deeper than what you received tonight. The 7 levels of the asking system. The hidden names of the archons and how to neutralize their interference. The technique Jesus used to manifest physical matter from thought. All of it is coming, but only for those who prove they are ready by applying what they learned here first. 3 stages. 7 days. 1 permanent activation. You did not find this video, it found you. The monad has been calling you your whole life. Now you know how to answer. Execute the practice, watch what happens, and when the manifestations begin, when reality starts bending around your words, remember this moment. Remember that you stopped being a beggar and became a king. Not because I gave you power, because you finally remembered the power that was always yours.